Hey yo, welcome to You Good Sis. We're back for another episode, a full-length episode this week. A two-part episode this week.
Two-part episode this week.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Should we just move into Ain't That I'm kind of excited about it.
We haven't done Ain't That in weeks.
We haven't done Ain't That in weeks. A lot has happened. We're gonna focus on this week, but a lot has even happened this week. So I just feel like we gotta roll right in.
So we're taping this on, what is this, Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
We still have 3 full days left.
Yeah.
And then a couple of hours left in this Thursday.
Yeah.
And this week is already insane.
And literally every time we get done filming, something that we have talked about has then been updated on.
Y'all don't want to sit down for 30 seconds. Just everyone, just sit down.
No.
For just a little bit.
If we don't report to Instagram, we're nothing. And that's the tea.
We have Chance the Rapper stressing everybody out.
Are we talking about Chance the
No,
Rapper?
we're not talking about Chance the Rapper. We're going to acknowledge that it happened.
We're just going to bullet point
the week. It was a major point. It was just too much.
Yeah.
It was too much happening this week. We have U.S. hospitals being commanded to report to some sort of trickle down of the presidential office and not the CDC, being discouraged from reporting to the CDC.
Yeah, so they're trying to basically change over who is in charge of information for the coronavirus.
Right. And then the story we're getting from Nick Cannon and Viacom because of comments made on his podcast. So Nick Cannon's Viacom access and shows and everything about that relationship is canceled because on his podcast he was discussing a lot of things about race relations and then particularly about the role of a lot of executives and entertainment leaders that identify as Jewish.
Okay.
And the beliefs he shared, the conspiracies he shared, the sentiments he shared.
Conspiracies? How deep did he get into this?
Listen, I can't tell you all that because I was not going to listen to all that. And I'm only going to speak on what I know. People are like, okay, well, these other groups wouldn't do that for you. He's saying sorry, and these people wouldn't apologize to him if something racist toward black people or something colorist or something attacked him. And I'm like, you know what? That's probably true. But is that a comment on who he is or a comment on who they are?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never been on first name basis with Nick Cannon.
No, I mean, neither have I. I will say, when I was in college, the National Museum of African American History and Culture didn't exist yet when I was in college. And we had a professor who had us go to the Holocaust Museum, the Smithsonian Holocaust Museum. I was just like, I am uncomfortable because I feel like the absence of my history on the National Mall and the absence of the Smithsonian of what happened on American soil to people who built America, that absence is making me resentful of taking in this information. It's making me resentful of this plight and of these emotions and this struggle and this. And I said, I don't like that. Not because I'm going to apologize for demanding my struggle and plight being represented on this National Mall too, but because the imbalance of how people regard my history is putting a filter in front of me engaging with this other history and experience that's very real. And also I didn't like that walking into that museum, it was very America saved everything and America did this. I said, so I'm already turned off. Because it's not even you started it off and it's not about the people who have overcome. It's about what this country did, this country that doesn't even know what freedom looks like and justice looks like, what they did to. I was completely turned off. But it was an acting class, so I as an actor was just like, this is an interruption to me engaging with the human condition, and I don't want it to be a choice. I don't want this resentment and this blindness and this anger to be a choice. I want it to be a challenge, to be like, I see this and I feel for this and I want to talk about this. I also demand this. And that they don't have to. Sometimes they're part of the same conversation and sometimes they're not. You know, but I want the discretion to be clear about that difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are losing that right now in this conflict that we're seeing with Nick Cannon. I challenge you to accept the fact that multiple sides and multiple people can be wrong at one time. And empower yourself with information. Yeah. As far as Ain't That I'm connecting this with everyone's been hype about that Hip Hop Harry go, go, go situation. But what you don't know is that I have to admit that I watched some Hip Hop Harry when it aired, and I was way too old. I was in my big age. I was way too old. But I feel like I fell asleep with TLC, the channel, playing one thing, and then when I woke up to get ready for class, it was playing Hip Hop Harry early in the morning, and I was like, this kind of goes.
I never even knew that was
so I'm let it play in the background. It was like 06 to 08 or something like that. So it's just like I was way too old, but like I would fall asleep watching some home renovation stuff and then wake up and Hip Hop Harry was on. And
Please tell me how that applies to Nick Cannon.
Okay, because Hip Hop Harry, in one of his dance circle moments, there's a song he says, I love to learn. He goes, I had a question. It needed an answer. I asked my friends, they're hip-hop dancers. Where can I go? Where should I look? To start my adventure, they gave me a book. I opened it up, and to my surprise, many fun things were hidden inside. Hip-Hop Harry said he loves to learn. And I want you all to love to learn. I want you to love to learn. When it's something you don't understand, instead of doubling down on the part of it that's also wrong, learn something. Ask something.
Yo, Lexi was off book. What? She tried to say, I'm a little too old for this, but she picked up messages. I'm in shock.
Okay, because all these little, all these little TikTok, the go stuff, it's cute. Kirk Franklin did one. But the go is cute. But Hip Hop Harry was preaching.
It's like Blue's Clues. Listen,
I love to learn.
Yeah.
When I didn't understand people saying this is anti-Semitic, these words are dangerous, I didn't say, no, they're not, because I didn't know. I said, I love to learn.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. I found a thread, which I'll share on the You Good Sis. I'll share the beginning of it. But I found a thread that one of my friends shared years ago about anti-Semitism in the Black community and how because our oppression doesn't look the same as another group's, we say, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, why or how do I end it or how do I not engage with it? We say, no, that's not true, and then double down on the things that are dangerous. And that's not.
It's also easy to just like mob appeal and be like, oh, everyone else is mad about this. Oh, I should be mad about this too. What? Anti-Semitism, right? I'm mad. And then it's like, no, like, how do we find our own opinions?
But like a lot of Aryan people believing Jewish people having money and Jewish people having these careers involving money and finance, that's dangerous, and that was a huge part of how violence against that community started.
Yeah.
Not even a century ago. It was in 1940s, 50s. Like so recent. It's too recent for you to not love to learn more before you double down on being wrong.
Right.
I think there are a lot of things wrong with the world. And I think that talking about those things and their respects and being informed in them is much more important than negating one wrong thing when you want to champion another.
Oh, yes.
I love to learn.
You came prepared today. My story is much too sad. You can cut that because I just had to feel myself.
I keep it.
I'm going to talk about Megan Thee Stallion. And the fact of the matter is, we don't have many facts. I mean, at this time where we're recording on Thursday night, there are not many facts, but obviously the internet's going crazy. We have heard that Megan Thee Stallion has been shot. We've heard that Tory Lanez, the rapper, they found a gun in his car, and then like everyone is just kind of left to their own devices to fill in the information from there.
Yeah.
But official word from Megan Thee Stallion, she did say, the narrative that is being reported about Sunday morning's events are inaccurate. I'd like to set the record straight. On Sunday morning, I suffered gunshot wounds, and basically she took gunshot wounds to the foot, and she said that they were in intent to harm her, but she's okay, ? It's what she says. And I really do hope that she's okay. And that's the news. Here's where the Ain't That comes in for me. I didn't get any sleep last night. I was up till 7 a.m. Unrelated circumstances. It's okay. I'm running on about 2 hours of sleep, which honestly is normal for quarantine for me at the moment, because what is time? What is sleep? Why do I need it? I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
I took this opportunity to write another poem. I wrote this in honestly about 3 minutes, just before I took a nap, just before we filmed this very episode of You Good Sis. Megan Thee Stallion, I think I'm thoroughly bred. Thoroughly blessed, them bullets ain't in my head. No major arteries hit, I'm just glad I'm not dead. In 2020 I bled. Real bitches heard what I said.
But what she's dealing with is something that's very real and very violent and
real.
very urgent.
Well, what I want to talk about specifically from it on an honest note is that now we've seen video footage come out, and I mean, there are just so many layers to how terrifying this situation, I'm sure. And again, we are only empathizing, but I'm sure how terrifying, we know, you all know how terrifying this incident can be standalone, no matter what. Getting shot, terrifying. Getting pulled over, terrifying. Having your shit publicly displayed, terrifying. I mean, there are so many levels.
Having people curious about how you recover on a minute-to-minute basis.
Asking you to be present while you're focused on recovery, terrifying. Add on the race war, add on everything else.
Ain't that some bullshit? Ain't that...
End it there. Ain't that some bullshit?